Live life so that you create good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so that you radiate good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so that you generate good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so as to emanate good vibes. The good vibes. Spread the message of your life with good vibes. With good vibes. With good vibes. Welcome to the Good Vibes podcast. Hey my friends, and welcome to this episode of the Good Vibes. I'm super excited that you are over here. Today we will continue on our journey of evolved learning. Evolved learning is when we learn from all the people in our lives and otherwise, all the things and experiences that we encounter. In general, we learn from life. So get pumped up now to feel alive with
the Good Vibes
the
podcast
Good Vibes
with Tushar. Welcome everybody and welcome to the Good Vibes podcast. I am happy to have you here. I'm very grateful that you are able to listen to me today, and I would like to firstly share a lot of love, affection and sympathy towards wherever you are. This quarantine, what is this? Quarantine is going on. We are in quarantine world right now. And if you're tuning in, perhaps you're in the need for some positivity and cheer and joy, some hope. And you've reached the right place. You're at the right place. Because this is a good vibe station. And our goal over here is to feel the needs for everybody, to let everyone know that they are good humans, they have the ability to find peace within themselves, and there is good in this world, there is kindness in this world, there's compassion in this world. All the healthcare takers around the world are doing a wonderful job. And if you're a healthcare taker, a lot of love and regard for you and your work. If you are supporting somebody who is sick, if you are supporting your family, if you're also keeping your friends happy, if you're choosing to be joyful every day, I think you're doing a great job. You're being of great service. If you are, if you're just finding reasons to be of service, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm really appreciative of you, and actually from the whole Good Vibes community. It's been a while since we've done a podcast, so I'd like to check in with you and ask you, how have you been doing? I definitely missed all of you. It's been more or less, let's say, around a year, maybe 9 months since a podcast has been launched on the Good Vibes. And it was a journey for me too, to find clarity with what I wish to provide on this podcast, as I found a lot of, as I did not want to dilute the intention and the message of something that I started with a very good intention. I wanted to keep the hope alive. I wanted to keep the spirit of this podcast alive, and I think the break has served its purpose, and it's given me a good direction on how I can help and serve people. This may be like an introduction, or this may be like the first podcast after a while. So I'm just basically taking a run through, hoping all of you are doing well, and reminding you and reassuring you that I will be trying my best to be with all of you and stay committed to this podcast. I mean, life's been real. I've seen a lot of things, learned a lot about myself, and to be fair, I was finding it difficult to keep up with the good vibes the same way that I had done it earlier. And I didn't want to do podcasts because I thought I won't be able to do it the same way. But in reality, you need to show up as you are, from where you are, from whichever part of your mind space that you can speak and help out others. And I know that I'm speaking to another human being who like me needs some words of encouragement, some words of understanding, who like me needs some love, some kind words, a reminder that he or she is very beautiful, that he or she has done nice things in his or her life, that he or she has something to look forward to and is going to do something nice today for somebody special, for a family member or a friend or a lover. There is I think I can just say that there's so much hope which naturally is flowing within my heart, and it's a nice time to record these sessions of thought. I had planned for a podcast about being and feeling enough, and this happens to be my second take on it because I forgot to plug it into the right microphone. So I just gave a 20-minute full intensity session of the podcast, but I think God or the Almighty said, take a break, give them another version, tell them a little more about what's happened. And in this podcast, I've spoken about the break and the 9 months. I haven't gone into the details of everything, but I did attend a few conferences and I met some really nice people. I said bye to some people, and I was preparing for my college. I joined German class. Yep. And on top of all that, I'm trying to stay connected with a few friends and make sure that all of them are good. So I'm trying to be a good human at this end. Coming to the topic today, we have being and feeling enough. What do you think being and feeling enough is? I spoke about the concept for the last 20 minutes, so it's given me some good material to cover. Now, being and feeling enough, like when we just speak about it in the first, in its essence, what do you feel it is? Do you look at it as a deep topic? Do you look at it as something shallow? Do you not understand it? Have you ever had thoughts? I'm trying to help you out. Have you ever had thoughts where you felt that if only you had something X, let's say, if only you had it could be a material possession, then you would be able to do this, or if only you had this, or if only you were in that situation, you'd feel happy. if only you had a better nose, if only you had a lighter skin color, lighter skin tone, if only you were richer, if only you were able to have more money, if only you had more friends, if only you had a boyfriend, or if only you had a girlfriend, if only you had a better job. There's so many if onlys, right? And it's a natural list for everyone across the world. Even the best of the best face it, and uh, it's a very common thought of not feeling enough, not being enough. And uh, if you ask me right now, do you feel enough? I'd say yes, I do feel enough. And it comes with a perspective. So feeling enough is a perspective. It's a perspective which allows for flaws. It's a perspective which allows for all your characters and all your traits. It's a perspective which allows for some space to give yourself some slack, right? That you're not in the perfect situation and things haven't worked out as you wanted, or you're not able to make the cut. It's fine. You're enough. You're where you are. You're where you need to be. You need to learn something in your situation which perhaps you're not paying attention to. And that's most likely the answer. When we are in a rush to get to the next place, we often leave, or we often don't notice the lessons that we need to learn from where we are and who we are as we are, because that's the real life lesson. And I learned it. I won't say a hard way. I learned it in a unique way. I left college midway. I didn't complete the entire duration, and I am looking to join back. That's a different story. But I had the option of leaving college midway, and it after a lot of reflection, I came back and found that people come to college with a lot of different opinions and perspectives and needs and wants and desires which are not similar to yours. And many a times, because we are not sure whether we want what we want, or we are not sure about what we want, we get confused. We get sidetracked by, oh, maybe we want what they want because they want what somebody else wants. And there's a whole cycle of people wanting things what everybody else wants. But if you just stand still, if we are seated and we look at the whole situation in a new perspective, we see that we want something very simple. We probably want to just learn something new. We want to get to know a new person. We have very simple needs, and it's not complicated. So if we integrate these two concepts of feeling enough and knowing that this is what we want, and this is what we want, that's simple because it's a basic human need, and we do not question ourselves too much about these two things. How do we not question ourselves too much? By affirming that we are enough. When we know we are enough, we know that our intentions and needs are also due to a reason, right? And once we tell ourselves that it's not complicated, it's simple. If we want something, we do the right steps and we achieve what we want. And in the steps, we'll face doubts, we will face insecurities, we'll face a lot of new situations which will test us to see whether do we really still feel that we are enough? Do we still feel we deserve it? And if we are able to acknowledge these thoughts and doubts with a smile and agree upon disagreeing with them, we're able to move on to a much more peaceful and resolute composure within ourselves of feeling and being enough. And as I say this, I don't know whether it addresses so many problems of so many people, right? Because everyone's going through a different situation. But the universal truth stays the same. Your situation is not complicated. It's simple. If you look at it through the perspective of what you need and what you'd like to have, you'd come up with a set of thoughts. In those set of thoughts, you need to know that it's not complicated. You need to take the right steps to achieve what you really need. And when it feels complicated, I'd say, at least for me, from my perspective, when it feels complicated, it's because that's not the real thing. That's my compass. When it feels complicated, when I have difficulties in pinpointing what I really want, that's because I feel that's not the real thing. There's an underlying thing to that. Let's say I want to be, let's say I want to get back to college, right? So there can be many intentions behind joining back, or I may want to go back for the friends, I may want to go back for studies, I may want to go back for so many different things. Now, when I find out it's not about what you will achieve or not achieve, because for a fact it is given that you are enough and you can achieve. It is actually about what you want and what you need, that the clarity lies there. So all I'm telling you to do is take your focus and energy, all of it, out of whether you're worthy, whether you deserve something, a situation, a salary, a person, to what you really need. Because they're two very different things. You may want to be with somebody, but what you really need is maybe love and affection. And there may be a lot of ways to achieve that. You can also be loving and affectionate by being kind to yourself, or meeting somebody new, or speaking with a friend. So you have to see what is the underlying need, what is the underlying basic human need that you're trying to fulfill. And there's always a basic human need which needs to be met. So just see with the perspective that you are enough, you are complete as you are, as you look, as you speak, as you dress, in your situation, with your capabilities, whatever they are. You are a complete person. You are worthy of everything which you need, which will give you the freedom for making decisions for yourself. You are worthy of it, and you are enough, right? So your attention and energy doesn't need to go to that area, whether you're enough or not. Needs to go to what is it exactly that you're looking for. And when you find what you're looking for, it doesn't kind of sink in with what you want to do, then it's good to question whether that's exactly what you're looking for. I think that's more of the journey, and that's kind of the journey that I have undertaken. And yeah, I think I have come to a point where I can share this. I learned this just recently, that I had started the podcast to make more friends in class, because I felt unaccepted in class. I didn't feel very nice about being a new student in class, and that lasted for 2 years. Even though I did make friends, I still didn't feel a closeness with anyone, so to speak. I thought a podcast would do that, which it didn't, right? And it did so many other things apart from making close friends. It did perhaps make me make close friends with people around the world, because I could do some international podcasts with really nice people, and that was really nice. But it turned out different, right? So what I was looking for and what I needed were something different, were two different things. So I found a different way to meet my needs. Perhaps I spoke with a friend of mine, an old school friend of mine, during the times where I was low. Perhaps I didn't realize that I was missing friends at that time. So there's a whole different dynamics to that. But we covered 2-3 interesting facets of life today, that most of the times what we want and what the underlying cause of that want, which is a basic human need, is not addressed. And the second is that you're worthy of that basic human need. You're a human, right? That's why it's called a human need. So don't need to question yourself too much about it. Don't need to have the imposter syndrome. Yep. I think this is a good place to end this podcast. It may not been the most straightforward to the point podcast, but along the journey, I think I'll find my groove back. Which I think I will. You'll get used to perhaps version 2.0 of the podcast, or however the podcast is carrying forward. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I hope you're in a good space. I will meet you again in a good space. Take care.
Hey, my friends, did you enjoy this podcast? If you did, do rate, review, and subscribe to it on iTunes or whichever app or application you are using. And if you feel someone in your life needs to hear this message, don't think twice about sharing it. Or if you feel this inspires you to record one of your own podcasts, go ahead and spread the good vibes. Spread the message of your life with good vibes. With good vibes.